There are now 20 Democrats officially running for president in 2020, from the very well-known former Vice President Joe Biden to candidates who don't have that kind of name recognition on the national stage, like the mayor of Miramar, Florida, Wayne Messam, and he joins us now. Mayor, thank you for joining us on a Sunday.
Good afternoon, Kristen. How are you?
I'm great. So let's start by talking about this huge crowded field. How do you try to stand out when you've got 19 other candidates, a lot of whom have a higher national profile than you do, and there's another mayor, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, getting so much attention? How do you stand out?
Well, coming on programs like yours, as a mayor, I've been very successful in solving issues in Florida's 13th largest state, Miramar. We're fighting gun control. We're actually passed a living wage. We sued the state of Florida so that we can have a stronger voice in gun control. And having one of the fastest growing economies in the country with more Fortune 500 companies than any city in South Florida, the city of Miramar is poised to be able to translate that experience nationally. So I look forward to continuing to get our message across. I was in Pennsylvania this past weekend. I'll be in Iowa on tomorrow, as well as New Hampshire later in the week. So as I get a chance to meet more citizens across this country, our message is resonating.
Well, one of your key proposals is a pretty bold plan to try to solve the student loan crisis. You want to forgive the nation's $1.5 trillion in student debt. That's a lot of money. How would you pay for that?
Well, I'm glad to be the first candidate to propose the debt forgiveness of the $1.5 trillion. It's really stifling our economy and stopping the upward mobility of college graduates. And
but how do you pay for it?
Well, actually, it'll be a combination of things. We will repeal the Trump tax cuts that basically benefited major corporations who are not paying taxes, as well as the richest of Americans. And we feel that the burden should be spread across to help this economy move forward.
So let's talk about the Mueller report. And you were one of the, I believe, three, there may be more, but at last count, one of three Democratic 2020 hopefuls who support beginning impeachment proceedings. But I want to pop up a poll from the Washington Post and ABC News. This poll found that 31% of the people polled believed that the Mueller report cleared President Trump. 53% said that it did not clear President Trump. But at the same time, when those same people were asked, do you believe that Congress should begin impeachment proceedings, 56% said that they should not begin impeachment proceedings. So even though a majority of Americans, according to that poll, believe that the Mueller investigation did not clear President Trump of wrongdoing, they also don't want Congress to go down the impeachment road. So are you at all concerned about the kind of impact that that might have on your party if Congress goes down the impeachment road?
Well, I'm focusing on the issues that are important to the American people. I think the Mueller report did not exonerate the president, but what it did show is that it provided recommendations for Congress to do its job in terms of oversight. It's the Congress's job to determine what to do next. But as a presidential candidate, I'm more concerned about ensuring that Americans can get access to health care, they can have one job to take care of their families, as we can do also things that can directly benefit and have an impact and action on climate action. So Congress has to do their job. My job as a candidate is to resonate with the American people so that they can have a chance at the American dream.
Mayor, I have to ask you about a report in the Miami New Times. They say that they put out a report last week saying that your campaign is in trouble, and specifically they cited the fact that there's some money trouble and talk of some staffers leaving after missed payroll. Is there any truth to that?
Well, the Messam campaign is actually doing very well. I just got back from Pennsylvania, as I said earlier, before. Our campaign continues to move forward. We've made our response to those allegations, and I look forward to getting the support. No, there was not. In terms of, we don't have W-4 employees. We have consultants that work for our campaign, and those allegations are being investigated, and we're moving forward in terms of reaching out to the American people. So I'm excited, and those who want to support the campaign can go to WayneForAmerica.com.
All right, Mayor, thank you so much, and best of luck with your campaign.
Thanks so much for having me. Have a great afternoon.
You bet.